Hello everybody and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now we like to explore the different ways and approaches people use to lead a happier and healthier life so we can inspire and help you at home. And tonight we're going to focus on one of these methods, which is a form of art, and some even call it their form of escape from their sometimes very difficult lives. What are we talking about? Music, of course. So tonight, we're going to hear the stories of individuals who've all gone through some tough times in their life, but they've all have one thing in common, and that is how music has helped them. Today, we have Samantha Wood, an international DJ and singer-songwriter. We also have with us Verity, who experienced what music was able to do for one of her relatives. And Galea will be sharing his life experience with music, and he'll be performing for us later on. Plus, our reporter Leanna will be asking the streets of London what music means to them. Find out the answers later on. And last but certainly not least, I'll be sharing my own view on music and seeing how music can even have a very detrimental effect if you're not careful. But first, it's the news with the lovely Helena Shard. Hello, Helena, how are you?
Hi, Chrissy, I'm good. Good.
Nice to have you back on the show.
And good to be with you too.
So music very, very influential in people's lives.
Very influential.
Positively and also could be negatively as well.
Could be negative, but far more positive, I think, outweighs the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love music in every sense, not just pop music, but classical and various things. But again, a really great subject to review and look through. Lots of tears, I always find when I'm going through things. But just going to start on a funny one, which came out last week, which I found interesting. Michelle Roberts, who's the health editor for the BBC Online, wrote an article, and it was music in the operating room is off-putting, and it's now been disclosed that roughly or up to 70% of operations have loud music playing. So people could be having like heart transplants and they'll have like, you know, rock, heavy metal. It's normally the main surgeon that will dictate it, but it is proven that obviously it's off-putting because you can't hear past me the whatever to the nurses. Is that amazing?
That's ridiculous.
They have said that it's not really detrimental, but you know, where do you cross the line?
Well, I know I cannot have any noise when I'm working. Music will really put me off. I can't concentrate at all.
Really? And that's
but then
strange.
Friends of mine, they need that to be able to concentrate, which for me, I can't get my head around because it's like just an extra thing in your head while you're working. A lot of my friends, they can't work without music.
Yeah, apparently there's a certain level, that you can really concentrate and actually learn more if you have a certain level, which is in between, obviously not really loud like in this operating theatres, but you can do. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah. That's a bit worrying.
You need to look into it. But you do well without it, don't you?
Yeah.
But even if you have the sort of, you know how you have the peace music and the dolphin noises and all of that, you can't do that because that's supposed to really help.
Natural bird noises and water noise, that's it.
In the park, wandering around, nature. Yeah. And the exciting thing about music in general, but starting with musical notation, which is the written music, is that that's a language in itself. And if you think it really brings everyone together, it's an international thing. You don't even have, you know, you can have a whole orchestra travel in to wherever and play a sheet music and they'll just all play. And you know, it's an international language. It's really beautiful. Yeah, which is fantastic because there's no language barrier, but also the power of music is phenomenal because it's a common human feeling which joins us together. Yeah. No matter what it is, it could be a spiritual thing in church and it brings you together, you know, your school friends. It's amazing. And it bridges gaps between cultures, which is great. Yeah. One of the good things as well about music is that it ignites all areas of child development, which is very important.
Oh, okay.
And so intellectually, social, emotional, language and overall literacy. In children. I mean, I say in children, but actually later on we move on to also things like dementia and things. So it's not just, I mean, obviously you start with children and there's various research and papers that have been released highlighting how music helps youths form their own identity, which is amazing as well.
Actually, because you mentioned language as well, I actually know someone that learned a language just through listening to the music in that language, the songs in that language.
Really?
Yeah. They were just able to memorise, because I'm terrible. I tried to learn language, but I'm so rubbish at
Actually,
languages.
I met someone as well who learned English that way. They used to just listen to American movies, and their English was amazing. And it purely was just, you know, watching loads of films.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what the brain takes in, isn't it? So with these papers and research, there's just a few little bits I picked out. There's a lady called Janelle Fletcher who's actually based in Australia, and she's just brought out a paper recently and suggesting how important it is, which is what I've just said really, for adolescents. They creatively engage with music, so a way of fulfilling themselves emotionally, psychologically, and also personal development and enhancing a sense of belonging, which is really important. And there's also a very whizzy guy called Frank Fitzpatrick, who wrote an article in the Huffington Post again really recently. And this was about defining who we are through music. And again, it's all to do with, as we share similar music, and sometimes even can idolise the people that we like the music of, which sometimes can be a little bit bad. But I'm not going to go down that route.
I think we need to do a whole show about that one day.
I know. And also an interesting article, the University of Glasgow and the Scottish Music Health Network confirmed as well how it creates nostalgia. So, the music that we identify with in our earlier years, it stays with us, and it's something that brings everything back. And I can also say, I can vouch, because I had a recent school reunion. And although we're all at different places, this is from years ago, we had that one thing in common, which was it was 80s music. So we were all talking about it. So we're going to have another reunion soon, which is going to be sort of like an 80s themed disco.
Oh, that's
which
nice.
Is quite funny, but it sort of brings you together. Again, it's that whole thing, which is lovely.
Because there are, I mean, as soon as you hear a tune, it can take you right back to your past. Sometimes to great times, other times to like sad times, but it's just got this power of transporting you different places.
It does. You just connect. You can connect to different places. A funny article I read in The Guardian by Tom Jacobs. In the 80s metalheads, which is the kids that used to listen to heavy metal, etc. They were sort of known as the reckless youth, sex, drugs, rock and roll, really off the parameter, and everyone was very worried about them. But in fact, there's been research which has shown that they were happier in their youths, in their childhood, and in fact they turned out better adjusted than lots of other children.
Really?
So not to be so worried if your children are acting quite strange and listening to dark music, etc. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I found that quite funny. And that's something which really resonates with me. It's something I would love everyone to watch. Honestly, I've watched it about 4 times. Each time I cry. It is just the most moving documentary ever.
Which one?
And it's called Alive Inside. And it's a story of music and memory.
Okay.
And it's just amazing. You have to see it. And it follows...
Are you welling up, my darling? She's
so
just
honestly,
talking about
it. It's amazing. When you see it, you'll understand.
Okay.
And it follows a social worker called Dan Cohen, who volunteered to go into old people's homes in the States. This started probably 6-7 years ago. And he has launched a campaign to take iPods into old people's home as a form of music therapy. And it shows they start off with one key patient, who is this absolutely amazing guy called Henry. He's 94, suffers with Alzheimer's, and he'd been in there for 10 years, just completely inside himself, head down, shoulders down, so, nothing. And his daughter used to go in and try and, Dad, absolutely nothing. And you have to watch what happens when they give him the iPod. I mean, it just is truly amazing. And it shows all these different characters. Literally the music, they light up, they dance, but not only do they dance, it triggers the memory where they start talking about their childhood coherently, and they're completely in tune. So they go from absolute nothing, and that's the power of music. And he, and along with another body, or lots of bodies, have been trying to make iPods in every single nursing home, something that is almost like a medication. You've got that whole thing. They can give loads of drugs, which are very expensive, but when it comes to something which is relatively cheap and does a lot of good, it's very hard to get that approved.
So imagine what they go through as well, because so confused, can't remember a lot of things, and then just that music will bring back these memories.
You have to see it. I mean, there's so many, and it's just so lovely because it's like music is magic to everyone. But in this situation, it's the sort of the back door to somebody's mind, which is it's just phenomenal.
It's amazing.
And actually, Bobby McFerrin, does that mean anything to you? Well, probably, but it didn't to me as well. But he's in there. He's actually a singer.
Okay.
But do you remember the song "Don't Worry, Be Happy"?
Yeah.
Don't worry, be happy. So that's interesting because you didn't know the name, but you knew the
the
music. So again, it shows how music bonds people, which is really clever. He's in that. But it's just so lovely, alive inside, and it's on YouTube, and it's great.
Okay.
It's the best thing I've seen. Best thing I've seen for a long time. Moving on to different people that use music. Sir Bob Geldof from the Boomtown Rats. He's been grieving a lot he's had quite a lot of loss, but Peaches Geldof absolutely really saddened him, and working with his band Boomtown Rats and just singing, it takes him away, and just his sadness is relieved for those few hours that he performs, which is
and we need to stop there. I'm so sorry. I know you had loads more to talk about, Helena. Save it for next time, maybe, if we do another music show. Thank you so much. Really interesting news. And I'm definitely going to look up that documentary.
I'll
definitely.
Send it to you.
Thank you.
Lovely.
All right, guys. So after the break, I'll be joined by our first couple of special guests tonight, Samantha Wood and Verity S, only here on the Chrissy B Show. So don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, today's show is all about music and its influence. And right now, we have Samantha Wood, an international DJ and singer-songwriter, and also Verity Slattery. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Fantastic, thank you.
Both beautiful smiles, but both been through a really tough time. And you're going to share that on the program today to obviously inspire our viewers, because we do like to cover topics that are difficult to kind of talk about, but also with a positive spin, because there was always light at the end of the tunnel. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
So Verity, let's start with you, because you can obviously identify with what Helena was talking about earlier with the music in the care homes. Can you tell us about your story?
Yeah. So it's my nan that had dementia. So like Helena was talking about earlier, my nan suffered with dementia for the best part of 10 years.
Wow.
So music was a huge thing for us as a family to help, because my nan went through a lot of anxiety and different things while she had the dementia, so it really calmed her and helped a lot.
When did you actually discover that music was really helpful for her? Was it just by chance you kind of stumbled across it, or was it something that
my nan's always loved music. My uncle sings, and she loved it when he sang and when we sing at karaoke's and things with the family, so she's always loved music. She always used to dance when she was a young girl. So it's always been a big thing, and it was later on when we were trying to get her settled in one of the care homes that we realised, because she wouldn't come out of her room and things, and it really, music and playing music and film theme music to films and things really got her out of her shell and out of her room and things like that. So
could you see that? Would she remember more when the music was on? Was she more talkative?
Absolutely, yes. Like Helena was saying earlier, there'd be times when my nan she'd be quite mute and wouldn't want to say much to us, and we'd be trying to have a conversation and talking about the past and things, and she just wasn't interested. But then the ladies that looked after her would be like, oh, but she was dancing earlier when the music was on, and so we'd be like, oh, let's put a film on with the music we know that she likes and things like that, and that's when you'd see a change in her and she'd really start coming out of her shell.
What did that mean for you as a family? Because obviously having someone with dementia, we've done a whole show on this actually, guys. If you want to check out the YouTube channel, it's there on Chrissy B Show. What did that mean to you as a family? Because there's a lot of pressure for a family going through that, and it's difficult to see a relative going through that. What did it mean for you as a family?
Well, they call it the long goodbye dementia, and it's harder for you as a family than the actual person that's suffering with the dementia for themselves. So it was really tough, but it just shows again the togetherness and how you all pull through as a family. And my granddad's just been amazing throughout the whole thing. Literally, the whole till death do us part thing, completely with my granddad. It's been amazing. So it's really pulled us even closer together. Now,
unfortunately, you lost your gran just in June, so really sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
But you know, and on the other hand, at least you had some of that music helped in the end times, so which was really like good for you as a family.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been in ambulances with her, taking her to hospital. We've been through ups and downs, all sorts of things with the dementia. So at the end, even right up until her last few days, she was dancing about and still quite able-bodied and things. So
nice.
To see that kind of U-turn from seeing her in a bed and like thinking she's not going to have much longer, to then having a few more years of actual time with her, and it was really good.
What would you advise viewers then if they're going for something similar?
Yeah, I mean, dementia is a hard thing. So I honestly, like, if you, like Helena was saying earlier, with regards to music, if you can get playlists or CDs or anything that trigger it, it's a huge trigger. So if you can get anything that, because some people are mute and don't talk and things, or some people like my nan who were very anxious, so it was a calming influence for her. So if you can get any kind of music that meant something to them when they were younger, because that's kind of, with the dementia, they remember more from their younger and earlier years. So anything from then to kind of like boost them, and it's amazing how much it helps them.
That's lovely. So guys, make sure you try that at home if you are going through that. Now, over to Samantha now. So you've also, music has had a big influence in your life, and it's helped you through the tough times, because you were going through something quite serious. Can you tell us about that, Samantha?
Oh yeah, which part? There's been quite a few. If I was going to say, obviously my childhood, my growing up, because I did literally, I started to dance and move about even before I could walk. You know, music. My mum recognised it, so luckily she saw that, and then I was sent to dance school and to develop that. And I think I didn't know my real father, I never met him, and I think then I met my second father when I was 4. He came into our life, but he left when I was 7. So I think that whole, if I hadn't had I've had the dancing and the music at that moment, it literally was my escapism. It was my world where I went, and it actually.
So it must have been a confusing time for you if it wasn't for the music, just all sort of things happening as a child.
Through school and everything like that. One teacher totally, a lot of teachers don't know what's going on with kids at school. And I actually, if I can say this, I just think there needs to be a whole big revamping of a lot of the education system. Because mental health in little children and kids, it all does stem from your family.
It does, yeah.
You don't know what they're bringing to school, and they're not understood. I was there, and one teacher really understood me, and we had a dance school actually, where we did do music and we did do dance, but she gave me the key for the little room that she knew I needed to go and just dance if I wanted to.
So nice.
And so I think holding on to having that music, having the dancing, it took away the stress and the pressure. I didn't feel like I needed the dad.
Yeah.
My mum was amazing.
You were able to focus on something else.
Yeah, it was like, okay, this is me, this is my little world. I can understand everything's fantastic. When I'm dancing, I'm listening to music. I don't need anything else. So that did follow me all the way through leaving school. And I only found out way later in life, by receiving a letter from somebody that I used to call my boyfriend from 4 years old.
We've all got those, haven't we?
Started young. Yeah, you're my boyfriend, you don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
And it was literally, he had written to my mum, my mum had a business, so he wrote to the business. I had already left the country and moved to Italy, still almost a teenager.
Yeah.
No, actually I was a teenager. To dance and work, because I literally went from school into a career of dancing. And it was later when I came back, when I received this letter, because I was just saying earlier to you, wasn't I? You don't, when dancing's just something that you have to do, and music and singing is something you just do it, you have to do it. You don't realise you're doing it or what you're doing until someone asks you about it. It's just so natural.
It's part of you, it's like
part of you, yeah. So, they're things I never questioned. I didn't question anything. I'm just doing it. And then when I got this letter from jail, from who I used to call my boyfriend at 4 years old, and I hadn't seen him since 13, and he literally wrote I knew that you would never end up like any of us. I knew you would never, you know, go down that road. I mean, everyone was dabbling with drugs and alcohol. I wasn't interested. You know, I'd be out with them.
Music was your escape,
Yeah,
and like
I'd
you say,
be there.
dancing, that was your release.
Yeah, I didn't need it, you know. So, and I didn't judge them. I didn't question it. But I was on the dance floor dancing, or just in the corner, or, you know, I was in a house, and they were all doing whatever. And,
do you think that's what's lacking from a lot of young people nowadays? They don't have like a focus, even if it's not music, but it's just something that is missing, and they just kind of turn to crime and gangs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the gang problem, you know, especially in London. It's massive. If there was, it doesn't have to be passion. Like, mine came from somewhere, like you said, life inside. It came from somewhere inside. It doesn't have to. It can be. We're not all introduced to it in that way. We're not all lucky to have it just as a skill or something. And so, but I think you can.
Grow on it.
Yeah, it can
get
be
into it,
introduced. You can bond with it along the way. If we gave the kids, I mean, where do they go after school?
Yeah,
where do they go on holidays? If your parents aren't musical, because look, if I say, look, I went to Brazil. I went to sing in Brazil, and we went to very rich places to very, very poor places. Wherever you went, the one thing in common, and the one thing that they have the most amazing smiles in the world, whether they have money or they don't, and it's music.
That's what Helena was saying earlier, isn't it? It just brings people together. It's like a universal language. It's really...
And we don't have that type of music culture unless your parents are into music themselves. You're not born into that in your house. So if there was somewhere, and, you know, I guess
it would
it's
be
like
good.
with you know, helping older people.
Yeah.
And with the dementia, and then but the
Yeah.
younger people, we need to.
What would you advise a young person then, like maybe is going through some problems, maybe they didn't have the kind of maybe upbringing that they would have liked, and it's kind of affected them? What advice would you give to them?
I think when you know, escapism today is drugs, drink, and it seems to be the only thing that people think, oh, yeah, that's cool. You know, it's cool at first. But I think we're all creative. I think we're born creative. I think everyone on the planet's got a creative streak. I've met people that think that they've got no form of expression other than what they're told to do, you know, in life. But I look at them and I think, you're so creative in your life. Like, you know, just how they live their day-to-day life is it's lived in a creative way.
That's really nice, you know, because I never thought of it like that, because I don't consider myself to be particularly creative. But having said that, it's kind of like nice to know that everyone has a little bit.
You're creating this. You're creative. You know, we
I'm
all
creative.
are.
Exactly.
I think we all are really doing it.
Right,
It's just
brilliant.
squashed somehow from kids. And I just say to children, you know, like kids, just find something you love. You know, find something you love.
Ladies, we've run out of time. I'm so sorry. It's been lovely speaking to both of you, and thank you so much for sharing your experiences here. And I'm sure it's helped our viewers. It's helped me anyway with my creativity, right? All right, guys, if you had a similar experience as Sam or Verity, or want to share your story to help others out there, then all you have to do is fill in the form on our website, chrissybshow.tv, or let us know your thoughts or advice on this subject by tweeting us at Chrissy B Show or commenting on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Don't go away, because after the break we have some more amazing stories on our show, and later on I'll be giving you a different take on music and how it can actually be detrimental to your mental health if you're not careful. So we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Hi everyone, and if you've just joined us today, it's Music and Influence here at The Chrissy B Show. Earlier we met Samantha and Verity with their stories of how music's helped them in their lives. And before we meet our next guest, our reporter Leanna took to the streets of London to find out from the public what music means to them. Let's find out.
Hi Chrissy, it's Leanna here. So as you can see, today we are in central London, and what we want to do is talk to the people about what type of music they listen to and see how it affects them mentally. How about we check it out? What type of music do you listen to?
I love hip-hop music, yeah, and house music as well.
Mostly jazz.
Hip-hop, R&B, bashment, this kind of music stuff.
American pop punk.
Well, we're very conscious about listening to music that has lyrics that we think promote emotional well-being, because something that plays around, and if you like a track, you end up listening to it quite often, and we want to be really conscious about what we're listening to.
Do you believe that music has a positive effect on your mental well-being?
Most certainly. When I'm in a happy mood, I listen to, I guess, kind of upbeat jazz and stuff. When I want to relax, I listen to smooth jazz, and it does affect my kind of outlook on life and the mood I'm in.
I think it affects your actions at some point. Like if you listen to a lot of jumpy music, you might be drinking and stuff, might cause you to do things you don't necessarily do. So
yes, it does put you in. It can put you in a very good mindset. If you listen, it depends what you listen to it for, I guess.
A lot. I can't imagine my life without music. Especially if I spend my afternoon in my room, I listen to music always. Even walking, always.
And how do you think music affects your own life?
It could affect it more positively, like listening to more upbeat stuff and inspirational things.
If the lyrics are inspirational, it can actually help you through a difficult, challenging period in your life, because it's like 3-4 minutes, but it can hold such wisdom in it. So really, I can remember really important times in my life where I remember the tracks that helped me through.
It kind of reflects the way that I dress. I'm quite mellow in my approach and in the way that I speak and in the way that I do things. So I think that I guess jazz reflects me as an individual.
I guess so. Just certain music just does certain things for you at a certain moment. Say if you don't want to remember something that happened to you, you just listen to music and it just takes it away for a couple of minutes.
So thank you very much, Leanna, for getting those views for us. And now let's all welcome our next guest on the show, John Galea. Hello, John.
Yeah, you right?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, good.
So good to have you on the show,
Great
because you have an inspirational story to tell as well. But first of all, take us back to when you first discovered that you loved music. When was that?
I must have been like 8 years old, listening to my mum's old records, eclectic bunch of records to be fair. And basically my dad brought home an electric organ one day. He found, and I couldn't play an instrument.
Found?
Yeah, literally, they were given away.
Right.
And I started plinking plonking on the keys and started trying to teach myself how to play, and then had private lessons, and from there I just spin rolled and did shows and started writing music.
So you did shows from quite young, were you? Or
yeah,
you
that kind of started me into music, and it came into drama, and it all came together. And I guess.
Did you always sort of stick with it, or were there times when you kind of went off into something else and then came back to it? Or
it was difficult doing the grades, to be fair, sitting down and doing the practice of scales. But no, I always stuck with it, because you'd always find another song that would inspire you as a kid to, I know this song, I'll play that. And then you did the grades at the same time, and it kind of all made sense, really.
Okay. Now, John, you went through a very, very hard time when you got very poorly. Can you tell us about that? Because music did help you. It
certainly did. I was doing a show at the time, actually, and I just thought I was unwell. I had a bit of flu. And it turned out that I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. For a 15-year-old.
When was this?
I was 15.
Oh, 15.
Yeah,
okay.
So I was in the middle of my GCSEs at the time.
Wow.
And I had to go through the chemotherapy and all the treatment.
As a 15-year-old hearing that, what went through your head?
Well, it's hard to take in, but the support from the family were amazing, and the community. So obviously that they rallied around, and it's a lot to take in, to be fair. When you're doing so much, like music and like shows, and then you're obviously having treatment, and you're trying to fit it all together, and doing schooling as well at the same time. It's it was difficult, but music certainly did help me through.
How did it help you?
Well,
because you had so much already in your head, like to deal with, and the difficult times when you had to go through all that treatment and stuff.
I mean, even the little things like sitting down with the CD and, back in the days on the CDs. And,
I remember those.
And listening to songs that I loved.
Yeah.
All very positive songs as well, because
okay.
I think that was a big key player in getting over what I did. Positivity, and I'd find that in songs, even if I sat down and played on the piano, you know, where I could, a positive song, it helped, you know, I mean, it really did. Even writing,
some people, because that's interesting, because some people, when they're going through like a difficult time, they kind of listen to sad songs, which is something I'll be talking about after the break, by the way. But it's like,
well, you do,
but it's interesting that you say that you listen to positive stuff.
I try to be more positive,
yeah.
There were times, obviously, you stick the sad song on. It happens.
Because everyone wants a good cry sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, it helps. Yeah. But no, ultimately, it was a general like positive songs.
Now, you've written a brilliant song called I'm a Survivor. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a track off my third EP, Notes for My Piano, and it's just an autobiographical song, really, about the struggles of going through that and growing up and trying to overcome it. I wanted to create I wanted to reflect that as well as give like an inspirational kind of message as well. Yeah. So hopefully I did it with I'm a Survivor. But
I think definitely. I mean, when you were writing that song, were you mainly thinking about the experience that you'd had with cancer, or was it like your whole life kind of?
I mean, that was the heart of it. To be fair, the cancer. Yeah, I mean, that was basically the main. I wanted to target.
How did it feel for you writing that?
Yeah, emotional. And it's emotional to see other people's reaction to the song as you know, as I'm playing it and we're gigging about. It's nice. It's nice to see people's positivity to it.
Why do you think music is such a powerful tool in people's lives?
It's like another language, isn't it? Really, like the sheet music. It touches on different levels. It really does. The music and the melody. And there's just something, like when you have a song that the right melody and the right lyrics.
I can see how much you love it just the way you're talking about it. It's so like...
when you get it right, it just hits the right spot. And
what else are you doing at the moment? Because you've been involved in quite a lot of shows and like
touring
and stuff. So how's it been going?
It's a bit crazy to finish the music video for I'm a Survivor. Yeah. I wanted to film it back in Great Yarmouth, where I'm from. Okay. So we did that on a beach.
Oh, it was lovely. I was watching that. It was so nice.
It's a very cold day.
Ideal.
Very cold day. Yeah, no, it was really.
Well, it looks great.
So we put that out, and there's some. We're doing a tour at the end of the year, hopefully. So getting out and about with the EP.
Is there anywhere else that you get inspiration from apart from your music?
It's one of the main ones, to be fair. People's positivity is important when you meet people as well. But yeah, for me as a musician and a writer, it's mainly music.
The main thing. Now, we're going to actually be seeing you perform later on as well. Brilliant. So guys, you wait for that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But what would you say, John, to someone, maybe a youngster that has been, you know, either maybe diagnosed with an illness, or they go through a really hard time in their life, not just related to music, but what kind of advice would you give to them in general to kind of get through things?
Well, it's tough. But you have to think on the positive side. There's no other way, really. There will be down days, of course, and you have to just keep the head, focused on the positivity, the good around you, whether it's the people, your family, your friends, the community, or around you. I think if you focus on that, it helps a lot.
You did mention that your family were a great support.
Absolutely.
Because some people, when they go through problems, they kind of internalize everything. They don't like to talk about it. They kind of stay in their shell. Yeah. But it's so important to actually talk about what you're going through, even if you don't feel like it at the time.
Absolutely,
but it's important.
No, my mum and dad definitely made me express how I felt, which is it's very helpful. It's very good therapy for it, to get it out in the open. I think it's bad if you keep it in. You need to release it in whatever way, capacity you want.
Definitely. Future plans for you, John? What are you? Your dreams, your goals?
Well, working on the album really. So
brilliant.
Hopefully getting that together and seeing what other songs come about and taking it to the next stage really.
Brilliant. Can't wait to hear more from you.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Thank you so much for speaking to us. And we're going to see you again after the break. Brilliant. All right, guys, so up next, I'll be giving you a different view on music and how it can actually be detrimental to your mental health if you're not careful. And of course, we'll also be seeing John performing later on as well. So see you in a second. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back, and it's music and its influence here at the Chrissy B Show. And throughout tonight, we've had guests who've all been through some very dark periods in their life, but have all used music to inspire and motivate them to keep going. But now I want to share with you how music can also have a negative effect on someone if you're not careful. So the first one is probably very obvious, but I'm going to say anyway, which is safety first. Now, listening to music outdoors can be a distraction and could put you in danger. So if you've got your earphones in and you're really paying attention to that music and you're really into that music, please be careful, especially the ladies out there. You need to be aware of your surroundings when you're crossing the roads, obviously, or just aware of any dangers around you. So please be careful. And also another safety hint for you as well. Did you know that you can actually damage your hearing permanently if you listen to loud noise or music over and over again? So be very, very careful with that as well. The second point is to watch the lyrics. Now, this is something that one of the ladies in our street chats mentioned. So some music promotes all sorts of negative things, and you know, some music is some lyrics are very derogatory to women. There's a lot of references to violence and crime as a good thing. So you have to be really, really careful. You might like the sound, the beat, the tune, but be aware of the actual words of that song as well, because what tends to happen when you listen to a song that you really like the beat and the melody and everything like that, you end up just repeating the words, and sometimes you don't even realize the kind of negative words that you're speaking out. So I think when you speak negative things out, I also believe that it can attract negativity to your life. So I think you have to be very, very careful. So make sure, obviously, that you know, if this bothers you, that is, if you don't mind, but make sure you are listening to stuff that is positive, so that it actually enhances your life rather than kind of makes you sometimes aggressive, because there are some types of music that even the way the instrumental is and the lyrics as well, that actually makes people feel more aggressive after they've listened to it. So that's just something to bear in mind. The third point is, know when it's a bad idea. So sometimes, I did mention this just before the break, sometimes people listen to music and use it in a kind of way to make them feel worse about what they're going through. And I'll give you an example. Say if you've just broken up with someone, and instead of kind of trying to, okay, I know there's a period that you're going to cry and you're going to be upset, and you know, everyone goes through that initial period, but there's some people that kind of prolong it using music. So they'll listen to all these love songs, for example, just broken up with a boyfriend or girlfriend, so you're there listening to all these love songs, or you listen to the kind of music that you would listen to together, and it just makes you feel worse. So I think it's very important that you kind of know maybe the limit you should reach, because, you know, okay, like I said, you have your kind of mourning period, but then there's a time when you have to move on. But if you keep using music and remembering things, because as we learned earlier, music brings back so many memories, then it's actually bad for you, and you can end up getting depressed because of something like that. So just be aware of when it's a bad idea to listen to certain types of music. The fourth point is, follow on from the third point, know when it's a good idea. So great to listen to music if it helps you to relax, if it gets you maybe motivated to go out there and do some exercise, because that's actually one of the few times I listen to music is when I'm exercising, because it kind of motivates me. And also some people use it to wake them up in the morning, because they kind of find it hard to get up and they want to switch their alarm off, but they put some music on and it gets them going. So those are kind of positive times when you can use music. That is a safe one, I would say. And the fifth point is, it's a question, is it just an escape? Now, I was a person that I couldn't go anywhere without my Walkman in those days. I couldn't go out. I always had my earphones in. I was always listening to music, and it was very loud and very, I would say it was too much. It was a bit of an obsession, I would say. And most of the time I lived in a fantasy world. I would reenact all these things in my head, and there was always like a scene that I would play out with certain songs, and it got so bad. But the reason that I was doing that was because I was trying to block out the reality of my own life at the time, which, as you know, being depressed and having all those phobias and things like that, I was just basically trying to block out reality. So in that sense, I think I can understand that, yes, music can help you feel better, which is okay, it's fine. But if you're using it only as a form of escape, I think that's very detrimental to you. The best thing you can do, as I did, would be to actually get some help for what you're going through. If you're going through some difficult times in your life, if you need some kind of counselling, it's a much better idea to go somewhere, get the help that you need, deal with the issues instead of trying to avoid them, and and then move on with your life. And then you can actually enjoy music, really enjoy it, and have it add to your life rather than be a replacement for all the negative stuff that you're going through. And to be honest, I know some people are going to find this really strange, but I don't listen to music. And that's really weird, and I don't miss it. It's not a conscious decision, it's just that I don't feel like I need to. I'll listen to music in the car, for example, if I'm driving, just to keep me awake, and when I'm exercising, but that's it. I don't own any albums, I haven't downloaded anything, I don't have anything on my phone, and I'm happy. But I think with me, I think it was the case that because I depended on it before, and when I got the help that I did, now I don't, so it's not an issue for me. So those are just some points that, I think it's really important to consider. I think music is great, as we learned today. It's helped so many people through some dark periods. It's motivation. It can be motivational. It can really help like young people and old, as we heard earlier as well. But all I would say is just be careful, especially if you're using it as your only escape from what you're going through. Definitely deal with that. Right, so if you guys at home have a story that you'd like to express here on this program to help others, to inspire them and to motivate them, don't forget you can always get in touch. This is your program too. You can visit our website, chrissybshow.tv, and get in touch with us that way. And you can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show, and also follow us on our Facebook page and leave a comment there, The Chrissy B Show. Well, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the show and also learnt something today. And before we go, we have that special treat for you guys at home. And I mean, we couldn't do a show about music and not have some sort of performance for you. So please welcome onto the Chrissy B Show stage, John Galea singing his original song, I'm a Survivor. Till next time, bye-bye for now.
Yes, I've been to hell and back, got the t-shirt, got that, but I'm still standing strong. Fought illness and fear through adolescent years. I struggle to find an easy path through my life, 'cause I don't care what the haters say, what the haters are fighting for. 'Cause I'm walking down the only road I know where I belong. I am a survivor, a natural born fighter, built like a warrior, nothing's gonna tear me down. Got a soul of a soldier, got the heart of a winner, built like a champion, nothing's gonna tear me down. Survivor, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. The underdog from out of town, never backing down, against all odds I'm here, never giving up. When the walls started caving in, I stayed strong from within, living like every minute, it's like a second chance. 'Cause I don't care what the haters say, what the haters are fighting for. 'Cause I'm walking down the only road I know where I belong. I am a survivor, a natural born fighter, built like a warrior, nothing's gonna tear me down. Got a soul of a soldier, got a heart of a winner, built like a champion, nothing's gonna tear me down. I am a survivor. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Strong enough to hide the pain, strong enough to weather the rain, strong enough to believe I can really be whatever I wanna be. Strong enough to hide the pain, strong enough to weather the rain, strong enough to believe I am a survivor, a natural born fighter, built like a warrior, nothing's gonna tear me down. Got a soul of a soldier, got a heart of a winner, built like a champion, nothing's gonna tear me down. I am a survivor. Built like a warrior, nothing's gonna tear me down. I am a survivor. Built like a champion, nothing's gonna tear me down. I am a survivor. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Of course you are. You're doing your timer thing.
We have Samantha Wood, an international DJ and singer-songwriter. Sorry, let me do that again. So just to recap, Porter and Leanna went to find out what music means to them. Music means to who? Does it make sense?